When family, food, and fury collide. A raw tale of misunderstandings and unspoken rules. Imagine this. You open your fridge, spot a stack of perfectly shaped hamburger patties and think, dinner's sorted. You fire up the grill, savor the sizzle, and bite into a juicy burger. Then, your host walks in, chuckles and says, "Oh, those were for the dogs." Your stomach churns, your pride stings, and suddenly, you're the guy who ate dog food. This isn't just a story about a culinary mix-up. It's a raw, unfiltered look at how unspoken rules, family dynamics, and snap judgments can spiral into chaos. Buckle up, because this tale will make you laugh, cringe, and question everything you think you know about hospitality, boundaries, and the audacity of assumptions. The dog food debacle. A recipe for disaster. Let's set the scene. I'm a single homeowner with a cozy bungalow, a pack of small dogs, and a soft spot for raw pet food. My sister and her husband are crashing at my place temporarily, a gesture of kindness that's starting to feel like a tightrope walk. My dogs eat like kings. I whip up batches of raw food with ground meat, minced veggies, organ meat, and a sprinkle of vitamins. It's healthy, cost-effective, and honestly, kind of therapeutic. I mold the mix into patties, freeze them, and thaw a few each night for the next day's meals. Simple, right? Until it wasn't. Yesterday, I came home after a long day, ready to feed my furry crew, only to find the fridge suspiciously empty. No patties. I asked my sister if she'd fed the dogs. She blinked, confused, and said, "Oh, my husband ate those burgers from the fridge." I burst out laughing, thinking it was a harmless mix-up. "Guess I'll thaw more," I said, still chuckling. But then her husband overheard, and his face went from curious to horrified when I explained those burgers were dog food. He gagged, shouted about me keeping dog food near human food, and stormed off, claiming he was going to puke. Now, here's where it gets spicy. I fired back. "You're a guest here. Maybe ask before you raid my fridge." My sister jumped in, mad that I didn't label the patties as dog food. Her husband called me careless, and I called him entitled. The room crackled with tension. But let's be real. I found it hilarious. No one got hurt. The patties were safe for humans, just not exactly gourmet. Yet, the incident exposed a deeper truth. We all carry invisible rulebooks about what's normal, and when those clash, sparks fly. The emotional hook. Why does this story hit so hard? It's not just about dog food. It's about violation. Her husband felt betrayed, like I'd tricked him into eating something beneath him. I felt disrespected, like my generosity was taken for granted. And my sister, caught in the crossfire, torn between loyalty to her husband and gratitude for my hospitality. This is a classic case of the fundamental attribution error. We judge others' actions as flaws in their character. He's entitled and careless while excusing our own as situational. I was busy. He was hungry. The result? A comedy of errors that's equal parts infuriating and absurd. The controversial twist. Here's where I challenge you. Why is eating dog food so disgusting? Think about it. The patties were made from human-grade ingredients: meat, veggies, vitamins. If I slapped a gourmet label on them and served them at a hipster cafe, people would pay $20 a pop. Our revulsion isn't about safety, it's about status. We draw hard lines between human food and pet food to feel superior, civilized. But in a survival scenario, you'd eat those patties and thank me. So why the meltdown? Because we're wired to cling to social norms, even when they're arbitrary. This story isn't just funny, it's a mirror to our fragile egos, to wedding woes, when no kid sparks of family feud. Now, let's pivot to another family saga that's less about food and more about control. My 48-year-old daughter, yes. I'm older and yes, she's been married 26 times. Don't judge, just tied the knot again in Utah after moving back from Boston. She's a dentist, sharp as a tack, but not thrilled to be here. Her husband's company relocated him, and she followed, dragging her baggage of resentment and high expectations. Our family is big, think 8 kids as the norm, so her wedding planning was a logistical nightmare. She wanted a kid-free event for ages 0 to 1. Citing venue capacity and the chaos of toddlers. Fair, right? Not to our clan. Her sister Ashley, 24 and married, begged her to invite her husband's brother and his wife, who have 5 kids, for under 4. They are SVPD, promising to bring only their preteen daughter. But on the big day, they showed up with all 5 kids, claiming the younger ones wanted to be in the photos. My daughter was livid. An argument erupted. She'd arranged babysitters, set clear rules, and now felt sabotaged. Ashley's in-laws refused to budge. Their toddlers wailed, and the tension was thicker than the wedding cake. I stepped in, exasperated, and told my daughter to let the kids stay or we'd be stuck arguing forever. She snapped, accusing me of taking their side. I laid it out. Her no kids rule was unrealistic for our massive family, and she needed to bend or cancel the wedding. She stormed off, briefly considered walking down the aisle with her fiancé's dad, and later claimed the day was ruined. Ouch. The emotional core. This isn't just about a wedding. It's about power. My daughter craved control over her day, a rare moment to shine after a life of compromises. Ashley's in-laws wanted respect. Leveraging their financial influence, they fund my brother's business and employ Ashley's husband and me. I just wanted peace, but my push for compromise felt like betrayal to her. This taps into the confirmation bias. My daughter saw the kids as proof her family disrespects her. The in-laws saw her rules as proof she's rigid. Everyone dug in, and the kids became pawns in a deeper battle. The controversial angle. Here's the kicker. Why do we treat weddings like sacred contracts? We act like one deviation, a crying toddler, an uninvited guest ruins everything. But life isn't a Pinterest board. My daughter's obsession with a perfect day blinded her to the messy beauty of family. And the in-laws, their entitlement stinks. But so does her inflexibility. Maybe the real problem is our cultural fetish for flawless events, not the kids or the rules. Weddings are about love, not control, so why do we let them tear us apart? The co-parenting conundrum, a battle of boundaries. Next up, a stepmom's struggle in a high-conflict co-parenting mess. I'm 27, pregnant, and married to Kevin, who shares 50-50th custody of his daughter Becca with his ex, Wendy. Wendy's a roller coaster. Sweet when she needs something, vicious when she doesn't get her way. She's been harassing us, even emailing my mom to demand I stay out of parenting. Recently, her car was repossessed, leaving her stranded. She called me, begging me to pick up Becca from school and drop her off. I said no, partly because I'm pregnant and stressed, partly because she's been awful. Kevin backed me, saying it's her problem. Becca stayed with us, happy as a clam, while Wendy fumed, accusing us of alienation. My friend, a single mom, says I'm wrong, that co-parenting means putting aside differences for the kid. But Wendy's chaos makes that feel impossible. Am I the jerk here? The emotional pull. This is a gut punch because it's about loyalty. I want to bond with Becca, but Wendy's attacks make every step feel like a landmine. Kevin's caught between protecting our peace and avoiding court drama. And Becca, she's stuck in the middle, her needs overshadowed by adult egos. This screams reciprocity bias. Wendy expects help but offers none, while I'm tempted to withhold help to punish her. It's a vicious cycle, and the real victim is a kid who just wants stability. The controversial stance. Here's the hot take. Co-parenting doesn't mean being a doormat. Society pushes this narrative that good step-parents bend over backward, no matter how toxic the ex is. But why should I sacrifice my mental health for someone who disrespects me? Wendy's lack of a car isn't my emergency. Yet, my friend's Rebecca's caught in the crossfire. The real fix: clear boundaries and legal clarity, not blind cooperation. Challenge that saintly step-parent myth, and you'll see why this fight is so messy. The stepdad struggle. When grief clashes with good intentions, now, a daughter's battle to honor her late father. My dad died when I was 7, leaving a void no one could fill. My mum remarried Lou, a decent guy who tried to step into dad's shoes. I resisted, always calling him Luke. Never dad. Now I'm engaged, and mom's pushing for Luke to walk me down the aisle and share a father-daughter dance. She says it's her lifelong dream. I shut it down. My fiancé will walk me, and there's no dance. Luke's not my dad, and mom's dream died with him. She cry, accusing me of punishing her for moving on. But Luke's actions, like cutting up my childhood cards to dad and claiming he could do better, make it impossible to see him as family. Mom's right in our history, framing Luke as our favorite person, erasing dad. It hurts, the emotional heart. This is about grief. I'm not rejecting Luke to be cruel. I'm protecting my dad's memory. Mum's pushing her vision of family, ignoring my pain. Luke's insistence on replacing dad feels like erasure. This taps into the availability heuristic. Mum focuses on her current happiness with Luke, sidelining my vivid memories of dad. It's a clash of realities, and I'm left feeling like the villain. The controversial edge. Here's the zinger. Why do we expect kids to embrace step-parents as parents? Society says blended families should seamlessly merge. But forcing that bond dismisses real grief. Luke's not a monster, but his push to be dad invalidated my loss. Mum's dream isn't my obligation. Maybe the real issue is our rush to fix broken families instead of honoring what's lost. The uniform uproar, a marriage under pressure. Finally, a stay-at-home mom's clash with her pilot husband. With 3 kids, laundry, homework, and cooking, my plate's full. My husband asked me to iron his uniform before his shift. I said I might not have time. He ignored me, then freaked out when it wasn't done, accusing me of sabotaging his professionalism. To teach me a lesson, he skipped his shift, risking our income. I called him crazy, he called me a hypocrite. Was I wrong? The emotional sting. This is about respect. I'm drowning in domestic work, yet he expects me to prioritize his uniform. His tantrum missing work to prove a point feels like a power play. This hits the fairness heuristic. I feel undervalued, while he feels unsupported. It's a marriage on the brink, and the uniform's just the spark. The controversial spark. Here's the bold claim. Why do we glorify teaching lessons in relationships? His stunt wasn't about teamwork, it was about control. But I'm not blameless, could I have earned it? Sure. The real issue is our cultural obsession with roles: breadwinner versus homemaker, that pits partners against each other. Marriage isn't a scoreboard. It's a partnership. Why can't we admit that? The bigger picture. What these stories teach us. These stories: dog food, weddings, co-parenting, step-parents, and uniforms aren't just anecdotes, they're windows into human nature. We're messy, flawed, and quick to judge. We cling to norms: don't eat dog food. Weddings must be perfect to feel safe. But those norms often blind us to empathy. The illusion of control drives us to set rules, demand compliance, and lash out when things go sideways. Yet, the real chaos comes from unspoken expectations and unhealed wounds. Call to action. So, what's the move? Pause, reflect, ask. Before you raid a fridge, enforce a rule, or skip a shift, ask yourself, what's driving me? Ego, fear, love, Then ask the other person, what's your side? This simple act rooted in loss aversion, we hate losing trust, and social proof, we mimic empathetic behavior, can diffuse conflicts and build bridges. Don't just react, rewrite the script. Share this story with someone you've clashed with and start a real conversation. Do it now, before the next burger becomes a battleground. Conclusion: life's too short for petty wars over patties or policies. These stories remind us that family, at its best, is about grace under pressure. Laugh at the dog food fiasco, forgive the wedding crashers, and listen to the grief behind the anger. We're all stumbling through, trying to be seen. So, next time you're tempted to judge, remember, sometimes the dog food is just a chance to learn.